Hello, 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 everyone. Happy Monday to you. I hope you're all doing well and that the love of the season is being felt wherever you are. I'm Devine, your father wounds expert, dedicated to help every woman with father wounds heal and live a life of wholeness. And today we're going to be talking about father wounds. What's the hype? Thank you all for coming in, and I hope this discussion will be very meaningful to you today as we talk. I'm going to be joined by my sister from another Mr. Tier Griffin. She is the Heal Her Relationship coach. She talks also about father wounds, and we'll be just having this discussion this evening to talk about what's the hype behind father wounds. Why do we talk about it? What's the purpose of this continuous conversation regarding father wounds? So I'm gonna have Tier join us right now so that we can get right into the discussion. I just want to ask you all to bear with me. I'm not 100% well in body. Well, because that's what I do.
I cannot hear you.
You cannot hear
Oh,
me.
I
How
can hear you
come?
now.
You can
I
hear
can
me
hear you
now.
now.
Well, look at you looking all fabulous. You know what? Somebody had to show up with the fabulousness because if
Listen,
I was,
this is just like my normal thing. Girl, I had to really rush home, but I'm here. I am here.
I'm happy that you are here and with all that's going on in my body, I'm happy I don't have to do this alone. So thank
Yes,
you
I got
so
your
much.
back though. I got your back though.
Yes, I really appreciate that. I really do. So as everyone is joining, we're talking today about what's the hype
What is
behind.
the hype, sis?
Why
What's
is
the
everybody talking about father wounds? Where did this term come from? What's
what's
going
the
on?
deal? What's up? Everybody wants to know. Why
Everybody
does
wants
girl
to
keep talking about it? Like,
know.
who cares? I'm ready.
I am too. I am too. So before we get into the hype, let's talk about who we are and what we really do. So I'll
Yes.
start with myself, and then Tara will get a chance to tell us
And
about.
you just run it down for me, sis. I'm also on live on Facebook. So just run it down. Hopefully they can hear you. And we'll kill a couple birds with one stone. You know what I'm
Look
saying?
at you out here being all fabulous. I love
I
it, Tara. All right, so welcome to Tara's Facebook family. I hope now I'm gonna have to turn the volume up to make sure that
yes,
I'm
turn
being
it up,
heard.
sis.
Yes, yes.
Turn it up.
I'm Davine. I specialize in father wounds. I'm a father wounds expert. I do that because I myself have suffered from and survived father wounds. I grew up in a Christian home where my father was mainly responsible for church duties and being absent from the home in a emotional way really just gave me, I guess, no other choice but to seek for emotional support from outside of my house. I wanted affirmation and attention from other men, and that was where life took me until I realized that I was just in a cycle of unhealthy attachments, unhealthy relationships, and it was just too much. Like it was just too much. And I was like, my life can't continue like this. And so I had to come to a place where I decided to do something about it. And I went on my healing journey. And on that healing journey, it was as if the Lord was exposing me to the fact that I'm not the only one like that. There are others in the
Right.
church like myself, who have fathers heavily involved in ministry who don't know how to balance being in ministry and also showing up at home and
Right.
having a relationship with their daughter, so that their daughters are not looking for that relationship, unhealthy relationships outside. So I decided to just jump right into it and to do as the Lord leads. And I'm happy to have this platform where I can say to wounded women, you can move from being wounded to being whole. So
I like it. Move from wounded to whole.
yeah,
Listen, this is the W's. You know, we have our thing with alliteration. So
yeah,
yes, wounded to whole. I love it. Do
yeah.
y'all know me and Miss Devine literally have not met in person, but like we've talked a couple times on Instagram. And like she said, I had no idea that people talked about this. Like I thought I was literally the only person in the world who specialized in father wounds. And I don't know what God is getting ready to do, but He's causing people to come out of the literally the woodworks. Like we're coming out of the wilderness. Like we've been prepared, we've been healing, we've been becoming whole, and now it's like I'm seeing it everywhere. And I'm like, so this is a thing. So that's the hype. Like, this is the thing. Healing is the new thing. Like you know how
Healing is the new
black
thing.
is the new. Well, what is it?
Orange is the new black.
Those kind of things. And 40 is the new 30, like all of this, like healing is the new thing. Like
It is.
healing is the thing. This is the thing that we all should be doing. So thank you, Davine, for the introduction. So everybody, I am Tiara Griffin, and I am your Heal Her Relationship Coach. I'm helping you to heal so that you can have more fruitful relationships and wholeness. Before I started to heal, I had no idea what my father wounds had to do with my failed relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Father wounds lead to failed relationships, and you wonder why you keep getting in and out of relationships, or they're never becoming anything serious, or you're in a bunch of situationships, low self-esteem, constantly needing reassurance and approval. I thought that that was the thing, but my father wounds was my dysfunction. Like
Yeah.
I was functioning, but I was so dysfunctional and had no idea. This is what I've always seen. No one else had a dad. So this became my normal way of life until one day my eyes were literally open
Mm-hmm.
and God allowed me to see healing, or that I needed to heal in a bad relationship. One thing that I used to, there's a young lady that I've been like doing ministry with for a while now, and she said, I said, why aren't people healing? Like, why don't people want to talk about father wounds? Why don't people want to heal? And she said, because right now we already have so many, we're being relieved in so many areas. When I
Mm-hmm.
was in a relationship, I didn't realize I needed to heal because this man was filling me. He was telling me what I wanted to hear, or I
Mm-hmm.
was too busy chasing him to even understand what I needed, or that I wasn't really being filled, like it was really a mirage or it was an illusion. So I realized I had father wounds in relationships. I
Mm-hmm.
needed relationship rehab. I didn't need to get into a new relationship. I needed to restore the one that was broken. So
Yeah.
that's literally where God found me. Girl, I had my Mountain Dew, so I'm like, yes,
Yeah, you're ready. You're hyped
I'm
up.
here. Okay, I come here today to let you know that it is a really big hype. You know what I'm saying? But it started in relationships. God literally came to me when I was living with my boyfriend. I was shacking. I mean, having much sex. And all of that, I lied and told my mom that I was going up there to be his roommate, but I was
Mm-hmm.
definitely in the room with him. Okay. We were mating in the room. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And,
You were.
so we did that, and God, He was sending me back home to Towson, South Carolina. And God said, "You want to know why your relationships keep failing?" I was like, okay, God, like, what's going on? Why do my relationship keep failing? He said, you have a father wound. This is before father wound became a buzz. Like, it's now a buzz now. But before, nobody was talking about father wounds. It wasn't like a in your face topic. So
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea. I don't know who planted a seed before, but I knew something was wrong. And I was like, so what do you mean I have a father wound? He says, you're expecting every man to be your father. You're
Mm-hmm.
wanting the men that you're dating to love you in a way that your father did not. So you have a void, and you're trying to date with this void. You're trying to be healed with this void, and it's not going to work like that. So literally, that's who I am. So I help you heal that relationship with your father so you can have a great relationship with the opposite sex, so that you can have a good relationship with God, because I had no idea how father wounds affected all types of spheres of our life, your
Yep.
money, your mindset, Your father wound affects your relationship with God. It affects how you do friendships. It affects how you raise your children. So if we don't deal with this issue, if we don't deal with this wound, if we don't deal with this hurt, this pain, this damage, his neglect, his abuse, if you don't deal with it, nothing else in your life will be well. And I will end this part of our introduction with Dr. Caroline's Leaf quote. She says, if your soul isn't well, nothing else in your life will be. My
Nothing
soul
else.
was a mess. I was a mess. I was a mess. I was a mess. No matter how you put it, I was a hot mess. And
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize how I was showing up was a result of what was in me. So
Mm-hmm.
you talk about manifesting as a new thing. We manifest even the things that we don't even say that we want. Your soul is putting it out there in the atmosphere that this is what you want because this
Mm-hmm.
is what's coming out of you. So you begin to attract what's in you. And that's exactly what I was seeing. So it's time to heal this issue. It's
It's
time to really
time to
deal with this
heal.
heart wound.
That's the hype. That's what we're
It's the
bringing to
hype.
you. The hype is we gotta heal from this thing because it makes
You
no
got
sense.
to.
We continue going around being wounded and expecting normalcy. Like,
And expecting everybody to heal you.
and that's
That's no
not going to
longer the
work.
hype.
You're
That's
the
no
one
longer
who's
the hype.
wounded, and you're going to have to heal yourself. You're going to have to admit that something's wrong. So, we're going to be telling
You have
a
to.
little bit of our stories because we want you to understand,
Yes.
too, that we're not doing this just because it's a buzzword now, as Tiara
Yeah.
just mentioned. It is for us a reality that we were victims, and now
Right.
we have come to the other side. We're now victors. We are saying to
Right.
you that we healed from this thing. It's beautiful, and we want you to experience the same thing.
Yes, healing is for life. Like healing is one of the best things that I could have done for me, myself, and I.
That's
And I
right.
was trying to get healed and everything else. Like the phrase looking for love in all the wrong places. I was looking for it in the wrong men.
Yeah.
I needed that love. Like it's a great thing that you desire love. It's a beautiful thing that you want love, but you're looking for it in the wrong person. You're trying
Yeah.
to get it in a romantic relationship, and he will never be enough. That's why we have so many unrealistic expectations in dating. That's why you're always being disappointed in dating because you're looking for love. Congrats on the love, sis. Go for the love, but make sure that your love is coming from a secure and a rooted place first. Because if not, you will be like the woman at the well who is coming back to the same relationship over and over and over again, and you're still unsatisfied.
So
Even
true.
Jesus told the woman at the well, you need something more. Your soul is thirsty. You're
Yeah.
not just horny. You're not just unsatisfied. You're not just uncomfortable. Your soul
Yes,
is
so.
crying out for
Yep.
more. You want companionship. You want security, and it's not going to come from this person. This whole time, Devine, I was looking for it outside of me, and it was inside of me the whole time.
And that's the thing. That's the exact point. Because here's the thing: if you don't love yourself, there is no way on God's green
Right, Uncle
earth
Pearl?
that you're gonna
Yeah.
love anybody else. Like
There's
if
no way you
you
can love
don't,
anybody
yeah,
else.
you can't love anybody else. And that's the thing. What the source of all of our father wounds, like I don't know, everybody's story, but for those
Yeah.
whose story I know, the thing that connects us all together is that there was a self-love element that was missing.
Yes.
It was
Yes.
missing because here's the thing: your father was the first man who was designed to show you love. And if
Absolutely.
he was absent and not able to show you that kind of love, then you grew up without knowing even how to love yourself. And so
Absolutely.
the first,
How does? I'm
yeah,
sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go
yeah,
ahead.
the first part of all of this is coming to that acknowledgement that you're doing what you're doing because you don't love yourself. And you're thinking that
Absolutely.
you're relating to other people is, oh, they're showing me love. But no, they're not showing you love because you don't know, you have not yet come to
You don't even
define
know what you're
what love
looking
is.
for.
Yeah.
You have no idea what it's supposed to look like because your father is your template for how you date. Your father is your template for everything. Your father is the one that was supposed to give you validation. And because you were missing that sound and that in your house, we went out looking for it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I didn't understand what does my father have to do with me loving myself? He was supposed to teach you. He's supposed to teach you how to love yourself. My aunt on Facebook said, "Daddy wounds create dissatisfaction inwardly and externally."
Yeah. So
She
true.
also said, she had a good one. We already talked about it. We love alliteration. Where did it go? She said, Facebook is not going to let me be great right now. But she had the alliteration going. I think she said daddy's wound and dysfunction. So
Mm-hmm.
yes, 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 yes. So absolutely, our father was the first person supposed to love us, and it's so crazy. Can I look? Quick story. I went to the movies when I was in high school with this guy, and he does not look anything literally like my dad. But we were watching the movie, and being grown, I shouldn't have been there because I got in trouble for being there. And I was laying on him, and I turned around, and I looked at his face. I was like, whoa, you look like my dad. And it was kind of weird, but as I grew up, I believed that he didn't look like my dad physically, but maybe the spirit of my dad. Like,
Mm-hmm.
when, like, you inevitably, if you do not heal, you will marry your father.
True.
All
So true.
girls we want to be daddy's girl. We want it. You want a man like daddy. Even
Yep.
when you don't want a man like daddy,
You
you're
do.
going to find a man like daddy. If daddy was emotionally unavailable, you're probably going to date emotionally unavailable men. If your father was abusive, you probably will date, if you saw him dealing wounded to well-rounded. Yes. If you saw
Listen.
your father abandoning your mother, you're going to, not that you want that, but I have been studying father wounds. And this lady, I don't remember her name, but I watch her on YouTube. She's a psychologist. And she said, we want to change the end story. So you end up being attracted, because this is what we are all, attraction is because of familiarity.
Yeah.
We are attracted to the familiar. We're attracted to what we're comfortable with, and we're attracted to what's safe, right? So here you have this man, and you're like, man, I feel like I've known you forever. He has these same patterns, and ultimately, we want to change the story.
Mm-hmm.
I'm dating a man who's emotionally unavailable, and hopefully, by the end of this, I will have the story that I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we do. We fix people, right? When you have a father wound, you're a fixer.
You're a
So you want
fixer.
to fix him. So now I'm trying to fix you to make you what I've always wanted. And I'm challenging you, but not for you to be better, but for you to be what I need you to be,
Mm-hmm.
instead of him just being that, right? So dated emotionally unavailable men, and I wanted so much for them. I had so many unrealistic expectations. I had so many unrealistic expectations for these guys, because we try to change the end story. And she said, if you want to change the end, change the beginning. How
Mm-hmm.
do we change the beginning? You heal so that
You.
you can start
You.
attracting the
Yeah.
right people. It is all because a lot of women, Davine, we know, want to be married, but you cannot get married and have you cannot be a broken person
Yeah.
trying to marry somebody else.
It's not going to be fair. Christine says sometimes the dysfunction is the safest thing, no matter how unhealthy it is, and that is so
Yeah,
true. It's like
that is
because
so
it's the
true.
norm for you, so you're thinking, you know what?
Change the
It,
narrative.
it's
Yes.
what it's what's available. It's what's speaking what I need to hear. So I'm gonna run with it. And it's for me it was a matter of, okay, my dad's a minister, and I kept telling people over and over again that I am not going to date a minister. I don't want no man who is
You done
heavily
created an
involved in
inner
church.
wound, an inner vow for yourself.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't want that, because I know
Yeah,
what men in ministry do. Men in ministry respond to ministry and abandon their families. And I
and
don't want that
abandon their
for
family.
myself. But what I didn't realize is that I was putting the work on the man, as you just said. I wasn't looking at, okay, even if God were to give me a man in ministry, or even one without, how am I going to be the best version of myself, so
Yeah.
to ensure that my marriage is going to be successful? Because I could still have a
Yeah.
man who is not in ministry, and he'd be a bum if I don't realize that the work that I'm supposed to do in myself is not done. So it's looking into yourself, doing the inner childhood work, as Christian just mentioned as well. You have to look inside of yourself and say, okay, what
Yeah.
did I lack that I need to get sorted out, so that when I relate to others, it's flowing out of the pure relationship that I have with myself first.
It's absolutely, because if you don't love yourself, it's going to be hard to set that standard for others.
Yeah.
Another issue that we deal with father wounds is people pleasing. And I did not know how to stand up for myself. That was boundaries. What is that? Like, I love you. I
Sure.
should have boundaries. I don't need boundaries with you. And it's two sides of the spectrum. You can be overly protective, or you want other people, you put the demand on other people to protect you. That was my thing. Christian was talking about this on her live with the last young lady that she had on there. And I wanted everybody else to protect me.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else, when I'm dating, you protect me. You show me what it's like to protect me, because I didn't get that from a dad growing up. I never got hugs and I love you. So I am out here yearning for that. I was watching this movie the other day, Devine,
Mm-hmm.
and she was a stripper. It was called The Life of Felicia Blakely, When Love Kills, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a bad guy, like Christian just said. He was an awful man. But when he looked at her, she was full. Like,
Mm-hmm.
he sees me. And it's so crazy. You mentioned the inner child. Our inner child just wants to be seen.
Just
She
wants
wants to
to be
be
seen.
seen. She wants to be heard. She wants to be loved. And she doesn't want to be dismissed, right?
Mm-hmm.
So here she was, like, he would beat her up, right? And then he would hold her hand and then he would
Yeah.
hug on her. And I was like, oh my God, women have such a dire need to be loved by a man. It's internal. This is how God wanted it to be, but he never wanted it to be toxic and he never wanted it to be unhealthy. He
Mm-hmm.
wanted this to be something that he gave us. Like, my whole goal with healing the father wound is getting back to the original intent of God.
Yeah.
And that is a husband and a wife. It's how he wanted it in the beginning, where he gave them to one another and they both were whole and they came together. They were fruitful, they multiplied, they replenished the earth, they had dominion, they ruled. This is the ultimate thing, but we're trying to have the ultimate without being whole enough to not being whole enough to, what's the word I'm looking for, steward it,
Mm-hmm.
to cultivate it. We want everybody else to come in and cultivate it, but if you don't cultivate you, baby, you can't cultivate me. If you
That's
don't have
true.
a history or receipts of building yourself up, you're not going to build me. But we want these relationships to do it for us. Relationships were never designed to do that. We're supposed to, this is my analogy of it. I'm a garden and you're a garden, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking care of my garden. It's like acquiring more land. Now
Mm-hmm.
I'm acquiring more land. But if you still need work on your land, like, you're going to make it harder for me. We're supposed to acquire, then we're supposed to build. But
Mm-hmm.
so many of us are trying to bring our weeds, our dirty grounds,
Woo.
we're trying to build, trying to bring in old seeds and old baggage. And we're like, unpack this,
Mm-hmm.
clean this out. It's
Mm-hmm.
going to cost you more when you get to me. Now we
Mm-hmm.
have more land. Now I'm fixing you and fixing me. It's
Yeah.
never
It
was
wasn't
God's
supposed to, yeah,
intent.
it wasn't supposed to be that way. It was not supposed to be that. Girl, you're preaching good on this Monday evening. Listen, one of the
I
things
love
I
my aunt
tend
said you
to,
cannot be a broken babe. Ooh, she's
yeah,
giving me. I hope
Alia
she knows
says
the girl
very
I'm
true.
going to
The need
take
for love from a man is
what
so
she's
strong that
talking
it
about.
teaches you to accept the unacceptable. Very true. And
What
I
did she
know of the
say?
whole, my friend here, Aliyah, says very true. The need for love from a man is so strong that it teaches you to accept the unacceptable. It just makes you like, what they say, love is blind? Because we were some really blind people out there, like, you
Well,
know?
man, the being love was not blind. We closed our eyes.
Well,
We was
you
out
know,
here.
too, we were choosing to close
We
our
were not
eyes. Love
bamboozled.
has
You saw
always
it.
been with open eyes and seeing, but we were
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
okay, whatever you give me, I'm taking it, you know? And
exactly.
people
We
pleasing
taught
was
people
a
how much we were
problem
worth.
for me. I definitely knew I wanted to be seen. I was never affirmed by my dad. I wanted to be seen. I would be everywhere and anywhere. Everybody knew Davine's name. Growing up, everybody knew me. Back home, I was called Christine. It's my first middle name. Everybody knew Christine. Every single person knew
Yeah,
her. And it was almost like that was filling that void in me, thinking that, oh, everybody knows me and I'm everybody's favorite person and all that kind of
no,
stuff. Still not
yes,
realizing that I didn't know myself just yet. And so having all these boyfriends, situationships, flings and things and just going all about and really not having any boundaries. Loose,
absolutely.
loose boundaries. And then I got to a stage on my healing journey where I realized that my language had changed
Yeah,
because I was no longer afraid to say
that's right.
no. I wasn't putting up with crap anymore. I wasn't the manager of the Build a Bear workshop anymore. I'm not taking you with your mess
Build a
and thinking
man,
I'm gonna
build a
fix
man,
you.
not build a bear. We were build a man workshops, okay?
Listen, I'm not doing that. Like, if I know
Yeah,
that there's something in you that you need to work on, and if I point it out and you don't want to fix it, you stay over there, sir, with your mess, because I'm not
And
taking
being
it.
able to walk away because Devine, I
Walking
had such a
away.
fear of abandon. Like I was so afraid of rejection.
Yeah.
I'd rather be in misery with you. I'd rather be in
I'd
misery
rather
with
have
you than
bad
rejected
times
by
with
you.
you than good
Yeah,
times with
I'd
what
rather
a
that. Like instead
man.
of you hurting me, I was afraid of losing people. Like even if I knew you were bad, I didn't want to lose.
Yeah.
I didn't want you to leave. I didn't want you to walk away.
Yeah.
This is
Because
why
the hurt in me was attracted to the hurt in you.
trauma
And
bonds. We got trauma
some
bonds and
bonds, yeah.
codependent relationships.
Yeah. And we were thinking that the presence of that man meant that there was something good about us.
Ooh. She said women need wisdom, girl. Y'all
With
come up through
the,
the alliteration. Y'all don't know. We
listen,
I thrive on it. So
yes,
my
yes,
aunt says people desire to be loved and they hold on to what or who presents that level of love. That's why we have a lot of same-sex relationships are
true.
more present and active now.
It's true. It's true. It was
Yeah,
always the basis of that, because when you had a wounded woman who was like, "Oh, I know that men are the reason why I am what I am, or how I am right now," they're like, "I'm gonna go find a woman because woman actually knows what I want. So let me
because you
just
know
go
what
and
I want.
yeah."
Exactly.
And so
So a
that's
lot of
actually
times,
true.
father wounds lead to same-sex relationships.
It
Father
does.
wounds lead to homosexuality.
It does. And we don't talk about that kind of stuff in the church because we don't call those words in the church.
Absolutely.
But do we understand that the more that we neglect this is that we're actually opening the floodgates of hell, and we're just
Absolutely.
sending people in a wave of destruction because we're not attacking the root of the problem.
Absolutely.
And that was it
Fatherlessness
for
is
me.
a spirit. And the Bible
It
says if you
is.
led by the spirit, if you led by the spirit, you have life. But if you led by the flesh, it leads to death.
Yep.
So, like you said, we give the door because this is what the Lord has talked to me about. He says, when you think about a house, you have a front door and a back door. Don't both of them have locks? There's some type of guard on these doors. What has happened is because my mother is the only one left, there's a guard in my life that's
Yep.
left unattended. I'm left without protection. So the enemy can come in like he sees all of these jewels like a thief, be like, man, they got a TV in there, they got gold in there, they got all of this. But because there's only one person that can watch the door, the enemy can come in. You want to know how I know? Because when my mom was just in the house and there was no father, I started watching movies with sex scenes. Friends would come over, we would do things together. We played house. The enemy comes in and starts to plant little seeds. I literally awoke. It says the Bible says, "Do not awaken love to its time." Love was awake. Okay, listen,
Yep.
love was it not just love, sex and lust was on the prowl. And not only that, it has literally come from my father's side of the family. And my maternal side. But I learned that my dad's side of the family has a strong spirit of lust and so many
Mhm.
things. So here we are. The Bible says that his sins will visit the generations after him.
After
So my
him.
daddy didn't deal with it, and here it comes knocking at my door. And the enemy doesn't wait till you are of age
Oh
to
no,
say, "Oh, I'm gonna introduce
he
you."
comes
Now
in right
he's
when
coming to
you
you
are
in your
able to
seed form.
understand. Like
He's
he's
coming to
coming in
you
for the
as a
kill.
child.
He is coming in for the
Absolutely,
kill. Some of the
because
things that
there
I
is no
think about that
guard.
I did when I was a child. Listen, I'm very transparent, but gee, y'all don't want to know some things that Devine did when she was just a little child, okay? Because
Ooh, she
it is
said, I'm
really
sorry.
crazy. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, and go ahead. She said, Miss Coach, shine style coach. Very true. It's hard to embrace femininity with father wounds. Y'all about to get this. And I want all y'all to come back next time when we do this every single Monday because this is not to be the vibe. This is the hype.
This is
Okay?
the hype.
Because it was really hard for me to embrace, and I'm gonna stop talking, y'all, because I can talk. Davine is allowing me that she's so graceful because I can talk. This is my thing,
I
right?
promise
But
you,
when I
too.
had father, well, when I, God is still, we're still working through it,
Hmm.
but femininity was hard for me because I never had a man do it. So women were never meant to be so independent. You were never meant to be so independent. If you were overly independent, you may have a father wound. I was not able to just sit down and be the queen that I knew that I was because I didn't want a man to do it for me because you might use it against me.
Yeah.
You might abuse me or try to control me because you're giving it to me. So I didn't know how to be a woman. And when I started dating guys that were so like big and they were like strong and they was like a hood and thuggish. I was like, I like this because I guess what? I got to be a girl. I
Yeah.
got to feel safe. I got to
Mhm.
feel protected like somebody else had me. But it was hard to be that when I didn't have a man that was that for me. I
Yep.
didn't know. I had to do everything by myself. I was taught by the women in my family, man, pull up your bootstraps and keep it moving. I didn't know
Hmm.
how to just rest in God. These were not things that I knew. I didn't know how to trust God. I told God, I do not trust you. Can I just be honest? I don't
Yep.
trust you.
Yep.
My daddy didn't come through for me, and this I learned this after I started healing. I don't trust you to come through. I'm asking you for stuff. You don't never come through. And I
Hmm.
told him one time, I said, you don't never come through for me. You're just like my daddy. And he was like,
Mm.
remove he said, remove your father's face off of my face. I'm not your daddy. I am
Woo.
not that kind of person. You can, like, girl, you can trust me. Whenever you need something, give me a chance to do it for you. I didn't give
Hmm.
God time enough. By the time
Hmm.
I asked for it, and he had 10 minutes. Because
Yeah.
you're God. You were a genie for me. And you didn't do
Hmm.
it, I'm going to do it by myself. Don't worry about
Yep.
it, God. I got it.
Yeah. And for me, I realized too that, yeah, I've been Christian, doing my thing in the church, but not realizing that I did not see God as Father. Like he wasn't
Yeah.
my father. Like I worship you, Lord, and all that good stuff, but I
He was
couldn't
distant.
address you as Father to the fact that
Yeah.
I know that your love for me was actually specific, that there were areas of me that
Yeah.
you saw that needed to be worked on, that you would say, listen, I'm going to deal with those things because I want the best thing for you. And it
Yeah.
was when I met him in that like dorm kitchen, I will never forget my experience. And he
Yeah.
spoke so clearly to me and introduced me to what I'm doing now, the healing work of healing my father wounds. I was like, God, I actually see you as father. Because that
Yeah.
had to be a fatherly thing to do, to meet
Yeah.
me at that point where
To
I was
come
so
for
oblivious,
me.
and
People
to
don't
say
know.
exactly to me what I needed to do and what he instructed me to do. I did it. Psalm 27, verse 10, Shane, go ahead with that. When my mother and father forsake me, the Lord will take me up. Yes, Aliyah. A lot of us as girls, when our fathers are not there, we don't see God as father because what we're seeing is fathers are absent.
You're not a father. Like, because if I associate God, so when I started to forgive, it literally God said, okay, forgive your dad. And he's like, now forgive the role of father. And I was like, what do you mean forgive the role? He says you have to forgive the role, because if you don't, you will never allow anybody to come in and fill this spot. Yeah, you forgive your dad, but you don't trust the entire role of a father. And that's why you
Mhm.
have issues with me. You have issues with authority. You have an issue submitting because you don't trust that. And if you don't trust the role of a father, how could you accurately choose a father for your children? You don't
Mhm.
trust fathers.
Yeah.
You don't trust them, right? So you have to forgive the entire role. Like, I forgive the men who did not protect me, because father wounds go beyond your natural father. It goes
Mhm.
into men, stepdads, and spiritual dads, and your uncles. It's just men in general. You might need to even forgive men in general for
Yeah.
what they did not know,
Yep.
because I read this book and it said men aren't taught to be fathers. They have no idea how to be dads, and they have no ideas how to be dads to girls.
Yeah.
There's not that instant bonding that's like a mother and a daughter. And then
Mhm.
it's crazy because we all want to be daddy. Like, a lot of women want to be daddy's girls.
Yeah.
I literally knew I wanted to be a daddy's girl when I used to watch the Cosby Show. Cosby Show, my wife and kids. I wanted to just sit on my dad's lap. Imagine the
Mhm.
depravity of not being able to get in my father's arms and feel safe.
Yeah.
The first time I had the hug of a father was not in the earth. Like, God literally, I used to go in my prayer closet and I literally felt, I envisioned myself sitting on his lap, and I felt his arms, and I literally broke down in his arms. I was like, he was like, you've never had a hug before. I'm like, yo, you all in my business. You're all in my Kool-Aid right
And
now.
that's the
And
fatherly
I
thing for him to do.
weeped. Yeah, I
Yeah.
literally weeped in his arms. I mean, the love, the hug. And that's all I needed. And when he, like you said, God comes for you, he literally came for me. He came all the way to Chicago. I was in sin. I was living with my boyfriend. I was not in my situation. I was in the bed with him, and he was putting me out, and God came for me. I didn't feel worthy of him coming for me. I was like, why would you come for me?
Mm-hmm.
I made the decision on my own. I blatantly disrespected you. I blatantly was like, I'm not asking you because I know your answer. And when this man had hurt me in the center of rejection, you came for me?
Yeah.
Me. You, me.
Yeah.
I would have let my child sat there and I would have let you cry because you
Mm-hmm.
knew better.
Mm-hmm.
But you came. No man had ever come for me. No one had ever chased me. No one had ever pursued me recklessly,
Yeah.
right? And even in movies we watch, when a woman says, I'm just gonna go, and he'd be like, man, just go ahead.
Just go.
When
Yeah.
a man comes for you,
It's a whole different story. It's a whole different story.
it's a
And we want to let you know that that's our reality is God came for us. And when he came for us,
yes,
he says, you're now going to help other women like you because I'm not going to
yes,
let you enjoy it all by yourself and leave the other women to suffer. And so he has enabled us in our own different areas of the world. And thankfully there are more women. We're realizing that there are more, and especially Christian women, because that was my struggle when I started to, I'm like, okay, are there any other Christian women who are doing this kind of stuff? Because it's a big thing in the church. Man, we salute you.
them
We
in the
know,
church need it more than anybody else.
yeah, we salute you. We know that you are doing your thing. You know, you're standing in your places in the pulpits and stuff, but you're bringing your preacher selves to your homes, and your daughters don't want preachers. They just want
Your
their
daddies don't
fathers.
want the pastor. We want a daddy. I
We
need my
want a
daddy.
daddy. I just want
I
my
want my
daddy.
daddy.
First of all, I'm
Yeah.
not going to church and call you by your title, and I'm not doing that at home
I'm not
either.
walking up to you being like, Pastor, so you're my daddy, okay?
Exactly.
Listen.
And when it's time for me, it's time for me. And I realized that
Absolutely.
was a big problem. So my story, if y'all not ever heard it before, my dad chose on my college graduation to be at church instead of celebrating me. And that messed me up. That
Yeah.
messed me up. And I'm like, okay, obviously I'm not important to you.
And that's the thing that a lot of fatherless daughters feel. I'm unimportant and I'm uncared for. And
Yeah,
and then when we talked that first time, I said, wow, church wounds come from father wounds. Like for
definitely.
you
And the thing about it
specifically,
is the church does not accept. I don't believe that the church is willing to accept it yet. And I'm praying that that will be what we see
yeah,
happening, where they do understand that it's a big deal when you have
yeah.
a father six times out of the week being away from his home. When does he
How
get
can he
time to
be a
be with his?
father in the
How
house?
can he be a
Because he's more of
father?
a father to you than he is to me. Like I need him, but if the church calls, it's like she'll be okay. No, I still need a
I need
daddy.
my daddy.
Yeah. My
Yeah,
aunt says lack of fatherly affection bleeds into your romantic
it
relationships.
does. It does.
Absolutely.
It
But even your
certainly
heavenly
does.
relationship, as you're talking about now, because how can you see? Because you're probably thinking, God, but my daddy ain't here. Like he's so for your church. Like that can create animosity in your heart for God. Like,
Yeah. First of all,
yeah,
I knew I didn't like church folks. I can tell you that I didn't like church folks because
yeah,
um you're my biggest problem right now because y'all just want
yeah,
my dad and I can't get him. So I don't really like you because my dad
yeah,
likes you more than he likes me. So you're my
yeah.
problem.
Exactly. But see how it literally father wounds literally is like it's like a cancer. That's what it is. Because I was trying
It
to figure out different. It's in me now. It's spreading to my relationships. Now my church. Now everything else. Like it literally is like that fungus. Fatherlessness is like coronavirus. Like you don't know where you got it from, and if you touch it, you might get sick. Like it's like a virus that spreads and it starts to touch everything, and everything now is infected.
everything.
It's now infected. So We got to heal this thing. It's the hype. Like, this is what we should talk about more. Because before you talk about, I want to get married, let's talk about your father. I want to be a billionaire. Let's talk about your father. Because I want
Yeah.
to make sure that you want to be a millionaire because you want to be a millionaire because you just want it, or do you want it because you're trying to prove something or prove that I
Yeah.
did without you, or what is the real reason? Because a lot of the desires that I had literally came from a broken place. Like, whenever I'm not gonna give away too much because we're gonna have this is a thing that we're about to do, right? But whenever your heart we live from our heart. The Bible says from it flows the rivers of life. So whenever in my heart I'm wounded, my thinking will be wounded, my feeling will be wounded, and also my behavior will be wounded. And this, like one lady said, when you see people in their behavior, don't isolate it. Don't be like, what's wrong with you? The question should be, when you're trauma informed, what happened to you?
What happened
So
to you?
I was showing up so wounded, had no idea because this was normal. Because whenever you think sickness is normal, like generational infirmity, yeah, me and my family just have diabetes, like it's whatever. So we just have fatherlessness, so it's whatever. We
Mm-hmm.
None of our relationships work, so it's whatever. We don't. Every relationship I see that get married, they get divorced. It's whatever. So we
Whatever.
have to stop like whatevering it and be like, okay,
Let's
can
deal
I
with
break
it.
this?
Let's deal
Fix
with
it.
it. And
Yeah.
I want
So that's
everybody
the
to
point.
understand that you have the power to break it. Like,
You
my
have the
thing is,
power.
once you are aware that you're wounded, you
Yeah.
are one step ahead of a lot of people, because a lot of people
Yes.
don't even know. But when you get to the place and you realize that you're doing that introspection, like, wait, what's going on? And you're like, okay, this is what happened to me. I am actually wounded. Good. We celebrate you. And we're asking you
Yes.
not to stop there. We're saying to you, with the help, you can be whole. You can
And,
move
and,
from
and
being
it's
wounded
yeah.
to being whole.
You can go from wounded to whole, and we know that because the woman in the Bible who was bleeding for 12 years, and
Listen.
you can get healed. Healing is the new. It's the thing. It's always been the thing, because one thing that I know is whenever, like, your trauma and your pain and things that have happened to you was a detour. You're not going to spend the rest of your life healing. We're trying to help you heal so you can get back to the original plan of God. There's a purpose on your life. There's a calling on your life. There's so many greatness that's waiting on you. So we want you to heal so that you can get back. Like, have you ever taken a detour before? That's not the way that you should continue. You got to get back on the
You gotta
road
get
so we
back
can get
on
to
the
our
right thing.
destination. Father wounds is a prison. Father wounds is a detour. Daddy issues is a detour. It detours you from who you are, from your individuality. It deters you and detours you from the things that you want. Like, when I first started this journey, it was like, I want the life that I love. And I didn't realize how stuck I was. And I
Mm-hmm.
didn't know that my stuckness was because of my own issue, because our Father paints the story. What he does or doesn't do, what he says or doesn't say, paint the story for me. And I
Yep.
start to live out that story. My aunt said on Facebook, we got to change the narrative. I didn't know
Have
how
to. You gotta break the
amazing
cycle.
I could live until I decided to live. Until I was like, okay, what do I, man? And then there's a real, it was just like, okay, I'm ready to change my life. And they're like, do this. And the person's like, no,
Look,
do this. No, do
no.
this. No. When I was ready to change my life, to me, and God was like, you gotta stand. All right, how we do this? What we gonna do? How we gonna do this? Because
How we gonna do this?
I am sick and tired of myself. You know,
Yeah,
R. Kelly said, when a woman's fed up, I was fed up with me. I was
with
like, I
me.
do not like you.
Yeah.
Like, people may not be as honest as me. It may not be. I said, dear, I don't like you. I
Yeah.
don't like how you respond to stuff. I don't like how you show up. I don't like that you do this. I don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
God, help me. Help
Yeah.
me. He was like, forgive. Okay. What else? Give me the list up front so I can check these off, because I'm ready for it. Like, life, it has to be more to life than
Then this.
this.
That has to
Than
be.
this. It has to be more to life. So I pursued that more. And it wasn't, God, I'm coming after the promises. I literally, with everything, I wanted to be whole. I didn't know what wholeness looked like. I just wanted to be whole. I was tired of being relieved by things that were not satisfying,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm sleeping with you, but I'm still not satisfied. I'm still not getting what I want. Why do I keep doing? Like, literally, I had to start asking myself the tough questions, and I had to come out of denial. come out of suppression, come out of avoiding. Let's like if I'm going to conquer this, I gotta confront it. And I'm
Yeah.
very confrontational. So let me confront me.
Yes.
Me versus me.
Me versus me. That
One
that
v one.
that's it. That's it. Because we've been, I guess, so taught indirectly to be looking for the answers outside.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it daddy wasn't there, and so we can point a finger at him, and then
Yeah.
when the man does something, it's we're pointing a finger at him, and
Yeah.
very often we don't look at ourselves. And I'm not saying when you look at yourself you want to be so hard on yourself. No, I want you
No.
to look at yourself to say, Devine, you have the ability to fix this with the
Since we
help of
got
God
issues.
and the
And
help of
you know,
others.
and you can fix this. Yes.
Yeah, you can fix this.
Yes.
You can do this. And you have to be willing to do that. And for me, my fixing was
And go through the
having to
process
come
and
into
not
faith with
quit.
God. And forgiveness
Yeah.
is actually God taught, because he's the only one that can really help us to forgive. And it was the same thing that he told me to do in that dorm kitchen that day. He's like,
Yeah.
you're gonna have to call your father and let him know you forgive him.
Yeah.
And
And
when I
forgive
did that,
yourself.
yeah, true.
Woo.
And forgive yourself. When I did that, I
Yes.
had to go down the line. Yo, just imagine. Sometimes when you think of people going to the altar and repenting, and they're thinking that they're actually taking out their receipts of all the things that they have done and say, God, I did
Yeah.
all this. I had to do that with my dad. I'm like, you did all this stuff. And I had to go through childhood all the way through and let him know these are the things that you did. They
Because he
hurt
did not,
and
he didn't
I
know.
forgive you. And he didn't
Yeah.
know.
He
That's the
didn't
thing.
know.
He was just being himself, doing what he thought he was
Thinking
supposed
he
to
was doing
do.
everything that he could do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I had to understand and accept that too. Because I believe genuinely that if people know better, they'll do better.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I had to
Yeah.
just accept that. And I'm like, okay, I forgive you. And I had to move on from there. I had to forgive myself for all the mistakes I've made, as you rightly said, and decide now that I'm going to do better. So when somebody would come and try to talk sweet nothing in my ears, I knew how to block that out, because I was now loving Devine, affirming Devine, giving Devine the attention that
And
she
I wasn't
deserves.
thinking no crap. My
And I'm
dad,
not
first of all, I'm secure.
taking.
So I don't need to date you to feel my need. I'm good. Okay.
I'm good.
She's good. I'm
I'm good
good.
over here. I'm
I'm good
really
over here.
good, sir. So I'm not
Yes.
taking that. And I'm going to tell you no, and I'm not going to feel bad about it.
That's the part. Telling you no and not feeling bad about it, but also knowing my worth and also knowing my value. Once I understood those things, because
Listen,
whatever we accept is what we tell people and what we're worth. If I tell you that this phone is $1,000 and you give me 500 and I take it, that's on me.
that's
But
on
if I
you.
say these are my standards,
Yeah.
these are my boundaries, and follow through, all of this, we're going to teach you either through our course or we're going to teach you on here. Listen, this is what I'm worth. I'm not sleeping with you till I get married. Can you do that? No. Okay. Well, this is not for you.
This is not for you. I'm not
Because
afraid to
Rolls
tell
Royce
you
don't lower their
bye.
prices. Rolls Royce don't lower their prices. No luxury item. When I went to the store today to go buy furniture, they didn't say, "Well, we can give you a discount. This is the price,
This is the
baby.
price.
I know my price, and I'm gonna add value. I'm gonna add tax.
Yeah.
But at one point, I couldn't do that. I had no idea that I could do that. Why did I not know I could do that? I didn't know that I could do that because I was afraid of losing people. And if I asked for what I really wanted, you would walk away. Let me tell you something. Rejection has been one of the greatest things that have happened to me. Please reject me so I can know, so you can get on to the next. I'm looking for something and you're not
Say
it.
that
Thank you.
again,
Thank you
sis.
next. Thank you
Listen.
next. You're not it. You want me to chase you? Yeah, I did that before. See, this is a new situation we got going on here. Yeah, next. But I could not do that until I knew my value, knew my worth, and followed through with it. I had to set it. But so often I was waiting for people to set it for me. Tell
Yeah.
me what I'm worth. Tell me what I should take.
Yeah.
Are you going to love me now if I do this? Because a lot of times, Davine, I spent so much time trying to prove that I was worthy to be loved by people who weren't
Yeah.
worthy to love me.
Listen. Sis,
Can I say that one more time
I
for
was
the
out.
people in the back?
Yeah, please do.
So I was waiting. I was trying to prove that I was worthy of love by people who weren't worthy to love me.
Weren't worthy. I was out here asking men to tell me that they love me.
Yes, please tell me you love me. I mean, I would
Please.
literally say, "Hey, when we sleeping together, do you love me? If boy, if you said yes, I would do some tricks for you. I'm telling you, I was going to turn it up. You love me?
Just tell me,
Well,
because
I'm
I
buying you
need
because
to
you
hear
love
that.
me. You love me? Oh, okay. We in here.
Not
We're getting married. Okay, my dress is picked out, and I have all of our children's names. I'm ready.
I'm
I'm
ready
ready.
because you love me. But
You love
listen,
me. That's all I want.
When Devine started loving Devine, it was a whole new game.
Game change. Game change.
I was starring the movie that said boy bye.
Listen, I started the movie no. My aunt says, she said, that one day tell you no, she means like, I love no. I say no for fun. Can you do no?
No,
No.
no,
And it's
no.
okay.
And I had that
Other
experience like a
conversations.
couple minutes ago. So you know my situation, T. I'm right now, y'all are looking at me. My top half looks okay. My bottom, I'm in pain, y'all. I got a phone call. Somebody wanted me to do something for them, and I said, no, I'm in pain. I can't do it. And I'm sure they're not happy about it, but I established my boundaries and I don't feel bad because I wanted to muster all the strength that I have in my body to do this because I promised I would show up for this. And I'm
Yes.
saying I'm not doing anything else but that.
Yeah.
I said no. I don't feel bad. If y'all want to go,
Because a lot of times we feel so guilty. I
for
mean,
what? Devine has to stand
why?
up for Devine has to stand up for Devine.
Because people stand up for themselves. People will do what they got to do what's best for them. And it's time that I started doing what's best for me because I didn't know how to do that. What does that look like?
Yeah.
I had to
So
learn that.
if you're on the other side of that, we can help you cross over. It's a
Yeah.
beautiful thing. Like we boast about this thing because it's real. I know how to express myself better emotionally. I know how to set boundaries. I
I
know
can tell
how
you
to
what I want.
authentically love myself.
Yes. But a lot of
Listen,
people don't know themselves, and that's the problem. And when you start healing your daddy issues, your father wounds, your mommy wounds, your childhood trauma, you know you. And when you know you, you can tell people what you want. And
yeah.
then when they don't give you what you want, you can leave. I'm not obligated to you. Girl, I
And
had obligated.
I'm
I
not
was in a
even gonna tell
commitment where
you
there
to
was no
leave.
commitment.
I'm not telling you to leave. I'm leaving. I'm telling you I'm leaving. I had to tell some sirs last year, I bye. You don't belong in my future. Bye.
You don't get a front row seat to what's next. I'm sorry.
No, no, you don't belong
So,
here, and you don't belong here now, and you don't
yeah.
belong here then. So bye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had a pretty good turnout. How you want to wrap this up, sis?
I want to wrap this up by saying, y'all, this is the beginning of greatness. Tiara and
Yes.
I are going to come and help you because we're not keeping this good thing to ourselves. It's like the good gospel truth, and we're saying, just as how y'all rush to get spiritual help and you rush to get physical help, we want you to rush to get emotional help. It's here for you.
Absolutely.
Emotional healing is your portion. We wish above all things that you would prosper and be in health as your soul prospers. So we have teamed up with God to come to you every Monday in the new year
Yes.
at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time
Yes.
to help you out because we know that this
So
is
let me
what
put
you
on
need for
pause. Let me tell
2023.
people on Facebook. So every Monday in the new year, meet us on the live at 7 p.m. We're going to be talking about father wounds. Meet me here. I'm like,
I'm
yeah,
ready.
I'm like on my Facebook and I'm over here dancing. Like, meet us here at 7 p.m. every Monday. It's going down, it's going down, and it's going down. All things father wounds.
All things
All
Father
things.
wounds. Yeah,
We're
we're
gonna
gonna
do it.
open your eyes
We're
to
gonna
some things.
uproot it. We're gonna uproot it. We're going to tear things down. We're going to overthrow some things. We're going to destroy. We're going to help you unpack your bag so that you can go into the next season of your life without paying extra cost to take all of this crap with you. And then we're
Yeah.
going to plant and we're going to build. Somebody said this was beautiful.
Uh-huh.
I saw myself in every word, and I pray that I see myself in the liberty space that you are both in now. Amen. Yes. Like
Yes,
our
that's
goal
a
is just to help
desire for
you
you,
heal.
girl.
I want to help you. I want to help you heal because it's the best thing in the world. And so many people, I look at people and I be like, you're so broken. I look at them
Yeah.
like this. You're so hurt.
Yeah.
And you don't have to be like you're
You
in a
don't have to
prison
be.
and the door is open, but you're just sitting here. Come on out. Come over here.
Come over
It's
here.
great over
It's
here.
better over here. It
It's
is
better.
actually. And we can only tell you
And
that because we've experienced it. So come on
yes,
over,
you have
girls.
so
Come on
much
over,
wisdom.
sisters. Come on over,
Yes.
ladies. Come on over, women. We're doing
Yes.
this. Yeah.
So much wisdom here, so much fire and passion. We're gonna be doing this for the rest of our life. So
Yeah.
I pray that you just join us and bring a friend, because a lot of our friends are broken too and they just have no idea. Because I
Yeah.
learned that a lot of people don't even know that they have father wounds. A lot of people have no idea that they're really hurting. They don't know.
Mhm.
So when I didn't know and I started to find out what how it was showing up, and I was like, more people need this.
They do.
So do you have father wounds? That might be the next one we need to do, Devine. Do you have father wounds? So,
Yeah.
let's stop. Let's not. Let's call a spade a spade. Let's list the things out. If you deal with any of this, you may have the father wound, and your father
Mhm.
wound may not be as deep as somebody else. Your roots may not be as deep as somebody else. But if it's showing up in your life, let's deal with it.
Let's
I
deal
called
with
my
it.
inner my um one of the pastors that I followed, and I was like, listen, so I hate being told no. Does this have anything to do with my childhood? Like, I'm asking, I'm self assessing. I want to be the best version of me. For
Hmm.
me, I finally feel like I'm good enough, but I did the work too.
Yeah.
So I want you to do the work, and we want to walk with you. I have my coaching program, the Ultimate Guide to Healing. No, the Ultimate Guide to Wholeness, Healing the Father Wound. Davine has a book. I have a book. Like, we have the resources. It's time to heal. Please do not go on. Like, really, don't go into 2022 the same person, because a lot of
Done.
people get ready
So,
to make some resolutions, and by January 3rd, your resolution is going to be thrown out the window. So let's not make resolutions. Let's forgive. Let's heal, so that your mindset will be different. My mom always say, change your mind, change your life. So
yeah.
let's help you change your mind. The Bible wants us to renew our mind also.
Yeah.
So let's renew the mind so that we can change our life. Let's heal our soul so that our lives will be well. And you can finally live the life that you want, a whole life, a full life,
Uh-huh.
without somebody else. You can be complete without anybody else. I'm telling you, it's the best thing in the world.
It is.
It's the
It
best thing in the world.
certainly is. Yes. No more
She
father
said,
wounds.
I plan to go into 2022 with no more father wounds, and I believe the series will help with that. Please follow
Definitely.
us. Please follow
Definitely,
us.
definitely. Yes, I offer one-on-one coaching. I do also have a healing our wounds course because I definitely believe that there is a way out of
We
this.
should do something together. We'll talk offline.
We definitely will talk offline, girl, because I'm telling you, I am not going to sit here and look at wounded people and do nothing. I'm not a
And do nothing.
Levite. I'm not a priest. I'm a good Samaritan. And good Samaritans see wounded people and take them to the place where they can get well.
Yes. We take you to the place where you can get well.
We do.
I love it. We take you to the place where you can get well.
Yeah. And so that's what we're doing. And come on with us. And as Tara said, bring your friends with you because you know.
Tell your friends to pull up. I've done way too many reels. Tell your
Listen,
friends to
we're
pull
real
up.
queens. We're real queens. Like, tell your friends to pull up. Like, it's good over here, okay?
Pull
It
up.
actually is good over here. So we thank you for being such a great audience. You can always reach out to us. Make sure you're following us
Yes.
and slide in our DMs or click the links in our bios, do our consultation with us, and we will help you because that's what we've been placed here and now to do.
Yes.
And we're telling you, it's great over here. So we're having a party. This is the wellness party. Come join.
Yes.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes.
All right.
So
So it was
yes,
good.
I could keep going, but we said we're gonna keep them under an hour. We want to do 45 minutes, but they'll definitely be only an hour so that you can watch the replay and not be overwhelmed,
Yeah,
because people are on here for like 2, 3 hours. Now
we're not doing
we're
that.
done.
We're
We're
done.
done.
We're
We're
done.
done.
Thank
Done.
you so much. God bless you
Yes.
all and see you on the other side. I
Yes,
hope
ma'am.
that the holidays will be meaningful for you.
Yes.
And if you want to learn how to say no to some aunties and uncles who don't know how to behave themselves,
Just
hit us up.
practice it this holiday.
Yeah,
And
we'll
they be
help
like,
you.
pass the potato salad. Be like, no, can't. I'm just
They ask me about your weight and all that kind of stuff. We're not talking about this today,
you
okay?
know,
So I
with
really
your
wish that the
husband. We're
holidays,
not right
we're
now.
not
I'm
talking
dealing
about
with my
husbands
own
right now.
relationship. I'm
We're
good.
not talking about that. My Bible
Yes.
says we're not talking about that,
Or
okay?
you could be like, oh my God, I know I am in an amazing relationship, and her name is Tiara. Her name is me, myself, and I. Like, I
Yeah,
am in a relationship with me, and I am happy, and I'm home.
happy.
Maybe you should try it.
Maybe you should
Yeah,
try it. How
maybe
about
you
we
should try
do
it.
that? Yeah, so all the
Yes.
best for the holidays, guys. All the best for the remainder of 2021,
Yes.
and see you. on the other side. See you at 2022, where healing is what you're going to be chasing and living out very
Yes.
loud.
What's the
God
date?
bless
What's the
you.
day that we're gonna
We're
be
going to
here?
actually be putting that out because we have to make sure that everything is in place.
Okay.
But stay tuned for that,
We'll
guys,
have our
because
people
we're
call
not
your
going to
people.
say this to you and then not do it. We're definitely going to be doing it.
We'll
So
be here.
look out for it. It's going to be on both our pages because,
Yeah.
listen, if we don't do this, God's going to whoop us and we can't take no whoopings from God. So,
No chastisement. I'm good. I'm good.
yeah. All right. So take care,
Love you
everybody.
guys. Bye. Thank
Have
you
a
for
good
joining
Monday
us.
evening. Have a great rest of the Christmas week. And see you soon.
Bye.
God bless you. Take care, T. Love you,
See,
girl.
talk to you later.
All right.